Hello, everyone. Welcome. This is Rose Kiley, your host for today. Just wanted to let everybody know that we'll be starting in a few minutes at 1:05. Just letting participants join the webinar. Thank you for holding on. Hello, everyone. This is Rose Kiley with Global Payments. And thank you and welcome to joining Introduction to Disputes Management. I will be your host today, taking you through the new application and talking with you about the new features and functions that we'll be offering you in the new disputes management tool. So let's get started. I know that we have folks that are still joining, but it's 5 past the hour. So what we're going to do today in terms of the agenda is I'm going to provide you a product overview. where we are and where we're going. I'm going to share with you a demo, and then we're going to have a deep dive into the features, a feature overview of all the new features and functions that we have built in the new dispute management tool. But again, before we get started, I'd like to do a quick review of the Smart Dispute Manager application, which is where we are. So let's take a look at the Smart Dispute Manager application. So today, everybody on the call should be familiar with SDM, as we refer to view, manage, and respond to your disputes. So what we have here in SDM today is you have the ability to search for cases. You have the ability to pull information by cases, and then you also are able to respond to the particular cases. However, before that you can make decisions on whether you need to respond or not, you have to enter in a merchant number, a case number, a case ID, or a case type, and then search for the case. So essentially, without having any other information, you're required to do that. So this provides you a search and pulls back the information. And then, of course, you can also go into the case tab, where you can actually enter in your hierarchy or a merchant number. And you also have the ability to filter the information by the case status or the case type. So this is good in terms of looking for the information, but it really doesn't tell you too much until you perform these searches. And you have to, like I said, you have to have either the merchant number or you have to have some kind of a case number to find the information. So once you do that and you perform the search, you're able to then look at all the details. So you can see the case ID, the case number, the case type. You can see all the information that you need at a glance. However, it still really doesn't tell you what you need to do with the case. So for instance, what am I supposed to do with this? You can see the status of merchant response needed, but you're not quite sure what you need to do. You don't know the reason code. You don't have any other information related to that. So now what you need to do is dig even further and go into the case itself, and you need to look at the details of the case, which I refer to as the case detail landing page. So of course you're able to see the information here that's related to the transaction. You're also able to see the attachments, whether you have an issuer doc or a merchant notification that was sent to you. But again, there isn't really any other information here related to the details that you need to support your challenge to the case or responding to the case. You do have the ability to respond, which we have the respond button here. Then you're able to upload information in the respond here so you can see the information. So you can actually initiate a reversal or you can accept the liability, and of course you have to agree to that. So again, this is information that you have to essentially go in deeper with each from the search results, and then you need to search on that information, determine whether you need to respond or not. You're not really sure about the reason code in which you actually need to do. Also, one of the important things here is that we don't have a case due date. So what we're going to do is we've actually made a lot of changes to the new dispute management system, and I'm going to share now with you a video of what we've developed. And you will be able to see the differences in the application. Oh, hold on one second. Okay.
How you handle your customers' disputes matters, and it may surprise you to learn that these interactions can be an unexpected opportunity to demonstrate excellent service and grow loyalty with your customers. Our easy-to-use online disputes management tool can help you resolve chargebacks as quickly as possible. It provides everything you need to manage disputed transactions, along with actionable insights that help you maximize efficiency. And we're going to show you how across 7 areas: Dashboard, My Work Queue, Customizable Views, Reason Code Advisor, View Case Detail, Uploading Documents and Case Notes, and Search. Our dashboard offers an intuitive, at-a-glance view of your dispute activity using graphical representations broken down by card brand, reason code, bank identification numbers, and more. My Work Queue helps organize and prioritize your dispute's activity. You can create and save filters, export data, perform searches, and much more. We know it can be difficult to manage disputes along with managing your day-to-day business, so we're here to help. You can take action simply and efficiently by using our Quick Action button within My Work Queue. There, you'll find everything you need in just a few clicks. You can easily sort and organize information to suit your needs by customizing your view of the data. The Reason Code Advisor provides support and best practices from the card brands, including reason code descriptions, best practices on how to avoid disputes, how to defend disputes, and guidance on documentation needed for a response. Dive deeper into additional detail about a dispute, including access to all associated documents to determine how you would like to respond. You will find a summary of the transaction along with dispute data, related transaction flow, and a probability score of winning the dispute to help you prioritize your work and make more informed decisions. When it's time to take action, you can simply and easily upload your supporting documentation. In addition, if you would like to include further explanation to resolve your dispute, you can also leave case notes. Looking for a specific dispute case or have limited data? Simply use the case search to find what you're looking for. You can search by various data elements such as card type, reason code, or merchant number. Or you can also perform a wildcard search to support a lookup with limited data. We designed disputes management for merchants of all sizes to help streamline dispute workflows and improve business efficiency. Considered over the long term, managing disputes efficiently can translate into stronger loyalty for future purchases, not to mention a boost to your brand reputation for being responsive and solution-oriented. To experience this online service tool for yourself, sign up or log in today.
So hopefully everyone found that informative. So that's just a preview into our new disputes management tool. Before we get started into the details of the features and functions of the new application, just wanted to call out that we have everybody in a listening mode. If you do have any questions, you can please reach out through the question box in the panel, in the control panel, and I've got 2 of my colleagues that will be answering questions throughout the webinar. So please feel free to send us some questions and we can answer them during the presentation today. So disputes management, as you had just seen, we have built a new tool that is going to help you in managing and supporting and responding to all your disputes. We have made the tool more efficient and organized and easily to see information at your fingertips when you need it. We have built the new tool on a cloud-based application, so that means that we're able to scale, and it's essentially newer technology. So again, we have a new intuitive interface so that you can find information easily. We also have some enhanced features that I will be sharing with you later in the presentation. Probability scoring, which you saw, I'm sure, during the demo. And then we also have customized views. You'll also notice as I go throughout this presentation, I'll be referring to common features and functions that you should be familiar with when you access Merchant Portal. So we took a lot of the features from Merchant Portal and we've applied them to this new tool. So from an ease of use and for transitioning into one area into the other, you should have no issues and you should be able to see the common features and work with them easily. So we have the My Work Queue. So this is a new type of format as compared to SDM. So when we did that quick look from SDM, which again, I'm sure everyone's familiar with on the phone, we actually took a different approach. So we do have a queue. We do have a queue process, but we have various queues. So the My Work queue is going to be where you're going to spend most of your time. This is the queue in which all of the cases have come in that we need for you to take an action with. You'll notice that we have columns here. These are your default columns. You have case type, the case number, card number, the brand, the reason code, case amount, due date, and case status. You'll also see the common features that I just spoke about, where you can add and remove columns, you can export the information, and you can also filter. And I'll go into this screen a little bit deeper as we get into the presentation, but this is the basis for how we structured the new tool. So we have the My Work queue. So listening to our customers, so very early on, I would say for the past year, we have been working with some merchants across all regions and discussing with them what they need to help them be more efficient and process their disputes. So you can see that we've broken this into 3 different areas. So we have the My Work queue, which I just discussed, and we also have different queues that will be available to you. We have the My Work queue, which is all of the cases that we need for you to take an action on. We also have a closed queue. We have a bookmark queue, which I'll talk about in a little bit. And then we also have pending queues. We have pending queues, and what that means is those are queues where the cases are in those queues and pending a review by Global Payments. So that means that we're doing something with the case, or you might have taken an action on a case, and we are now looking at the case, and we are going to review it and respond on your behalf to the card brand. We also have something called the Case Detail Landing Page. And this is where all the details of the cases will be shown. Again, we'll go into that a little bit more. And then we also have something new called the dashboard. So again, the dashboard is really looking at the dispute information. It's really a snapshot of your daily data. But again, we'll talk about that further. And I wanted to point this out is that a lot of this information was built based on listening to our customers, in organizing the data, providing a quick view of the dispute data, the screen customization, and then we also have things like reason code descriptor and advisor. So let's get into the details. So I'm going to start a product overview, and of course we're going to start with dispute. So today, you are going to access disputes management through the application drawer once you authenticate into Merchant Portal. One of the things I'm calling out here, and that's important, is that now you're going to see 2 icons. So what is going to happen is on the date of your migration, you will receive an email from us letting you know that you have migrated, and you could get an email as early as tomorrow or sometime next week. So we will be sending an email when you've actually migrated. But the other thing to notice here is that when you do click on the application drawer in Merchant Portal, if you have migrated, you're going to see 2 icons. So the new dispute management tool is going to be the purple icon that you see today. And then we have a new icon for Smart Dispute Manager. And the reason we have these here is because any case that you have in flight, meaning it is still open in Smart Dispute Manager and has not closed, will need to be completed in Smart Dispute Manager. And any new case that comes in on your migration date will be sent to the new dispute management tool. So temporarily, you will need to toggle between these 2 applications to look and view and manage your disputes. Eventually, there'll be no disputes in this application, and this icon will be removed. But right now, you will see the two icons. So this is a clear indicator. If for some reason you don't get the email or the email ends up in your spam folder, this is a clear indication that you have migrated. And again, all your new cases will go here. All your existing cases in flight will stay in the Smart Dispute Manager application. So let's talk about dispute management. So everyone on this call obviously is here because they manage disputes. So dispute management for us is where you're going to view, manage, and respond to all your dispute cases. So that would be retrievals, chargebacks, and any exceptions, incoming arbitrations, incoming pre-arbitrations, anything else that goes beyond the chargeback life cycle. You can see that we have a lot of information here. We're giving you information related to the dispute, and we have 3 overview sections. Again, as I mentioned earlier, we have set up this tool to be queue-based. You will have the ability to do a case search like you did in Smart Dispute Manager. You will be able to upload documents. You will be able to export the information. But what's new is we have this thing called the probability score, which is up here, over here. And again, I'll talk about this more. And then we also have help tips, which is going to be related to the reason code. So let's get into details about the features. So dispute management capabilities. So the approach to dispute management for Global Payments is a 3-prong approach. We have case management, which allows you to support all of your dispute needs. We have key features. We have the search. We have case flow, which means that you're able to take actions. We have filtering, and you can customize your screen. But we also have enhanced capabilities. We have the dashboard. We have a new reason code advisor. We have a probability score. As I mentioned, queue management. And then we also have something called case event history, or a case timeline. And that is going to allow you to see all of the different steps that took place in your particular case that you're working on. For support tools, we've developed a new help center. And the help center for disputes only is available through Merchant Portal. So it's in the same area that you might go to today, but there's a dedicated page for disputes. We also have a merchant user guide, which is downloadable and available within the new disputes tool. And then, of course, you still have all your support tools that you have today for Merchant Portal, where you can do your location management and user management, and of course, any forgot passwords. And then from an integrated experience, we have everything all wrapped into one within Merchant Portal. So we have the case, we have the new dispute management tool for case management. We also have reporting. And I'll go into a little bit more about reporting later on in the presentation, but we have 3 reports. The adjusted dispute report, which you should be familiar with today, and then we have the chargeback received and the retrieval received report. And again, I'll talk about that later. So again, integrated experience, you have reports, and you have your dispute management tool. So let's talk about the dispute dashboard. So the dispute dashboard is really just a graphical representation of your data. You are able to change the frequency of the information, so you could look at last week, yesterday, last month, or the year. So you're able to actually look at this information. And what we're doing here is we're giving you the top 5 reason codes by the card brand. So you have an idea or an indicator of where all your reason codes are coming in. We also have your disputes broken down by percentages in a simple pie chart. We also have your top 5 issuer by bin. So this actually is going to help you determine where you might be seeing most of your disputes coming in from, like what issuer. And maybe that's a point where you might want to go and look at that and see if there's something happening within your authorization stream and your payment stream. And then also we have the dispute comparison. So this is just comparing chargebacks, retrievals, and then your other dispute types. So again, really just quick information snapshot at your fingertips. This is a default. You will see the dashboard when you log in, but you don't have to wait for the dashboard to render. You can quickly go over to the queues to see all the information, all the case data, so you can get started working. So the My Work queue, we talked a little bit about this earlier. So again, we are showing you here the case status and the case due date, which is very important so that you have an idea of what you need to do with your cases. This is a lot of feedback we got from the merchants that said, you know, we don't know when the case is due. We're really not clear on when we're supposed to respond and when we have to respond by, and what do I actually need to do with the case. One thing to note here is that we do have a default sort. So we are going to give you 9 columns of basic information, which I outlined earlier. So you're going to have the case type, the card number, the case number, the card brand, the reason code, the amount, the due date, merchant name, and the case status. But also, there's a default sort. We are going to show you the oldest due date with the highest dollar amount. So that is really focusing in on exactly what you need to work first and second and third. And again, we also have filtering, and we also have columns and export. So very similar to Merchant Portal. And you're also able to create filters and save them and edit them for use later. We also have the queues, which I mentioned. So we have our closed queue. So any case that is closed or that has expired because the due date has expired will move to the closed queue. You can still see those cases, but you will not be able to take an action on them except to upload any additional documentation. The My Bookmark cases are cases that you bookmark, and again, we'll talk about that in a minute. And then you have the pending queues. So you have pending for chargebacks, exceptions, and retrievals. The pending queues are cases that go to those queues because you have taken an action with them. And we need to do something on our side with that particular case. So the case detail landing page, that's exactly what it is. It's the details of your case. So what we're doing here is we're giving you more information about the cases in general. So about the case. So we broke it up into 3 different areas. We have a dispute overview, which is all of your case information related to the dispute. We have a transaction overview, which is related to the transaction. So that could be auth and settled information. We have the related transaction flow. So what this is a high-level dispute life cycle of this particular case. So we're going to tell you when it was authorized, when it was deposited, if it was a reversal, if it came in as a chargeback, if it was represented, refunded, or if it turned into an exception item such as an arbitration. So we're giving you a lot of information here. You're also able to click View More Details and see additional information about the case. So there'll be a slide out panel that comes out that you'll see more detail related to this particular case. The other thing I wanted to call out here is that you're able to see this header information. So this is going to tell you how many days left you have, so it's associated to the case due date. The stage is the chargeback. The merchant response needed is your case status. You'll also see the region, the ARN, the amount, that's the reason code, the amount, and then your probability score. You're also going to be able to take actions from this screen as well as the My Work queue, and I'll talk about that a little bit more in the other slides. So customize your queue. So everyone should be familiar with this, as I've been mentioning with Merchant Portal. So you are able to customize any queue. You can hit the columns, and you'll see the available columns and the active columns. So you're going to be able to add information in or take information away. Really just depends on you and what you want to see. Now, of course, this is similar to Merchant Portal in functionality, but we do have additional information as it relates to the chargeback. So there's specific information here, a specific field that are particular to a dispute or any kind of dispute or retrieval or chargeback. So again, you can add or remove columns to show only the data that you want to see, only what's relevant to yourself, and you can save that. So this setting will be set and will be your preference. So the next time that you log in, you'll be able to see that information. So again, you're able to filter and you're able to do a lot of different things, as well as you could do in Merchant Portal. You're also able to export. So case search. So you're able to do this in SDM and you're able to do this in the new dispute management tool. So we have two types of search. We have a general search, which means that you can click on the case search and you can search by any one of these fields that we offer here. You can search by the case number, the case type, the case status, the merchant name, the account number. You can do a transaction date range search. You can do an amount. You can do a reason code, ARN, case type, whatever information you have, you can search for the case. But let's say you don't have any information. You can then perform a wildcard search, which is at the top. So this allows you to search for cases with limited information, so limited data. You're also able to, so when you do that type of search, what's going to happen is it's going to be very similar to Google when you do a search on Google. Once you start to type something in, we're going to have a drop-down box that's going to show, and it's going to say, are you trying to look for a card number? Are you trying to look for a case number? Are you trying to look for an ARM? So there's different things there. And once that you see the drop-down and you know what you actually want to target, you can click that and our system will go ahead and perform that search. But again, two types of search. General search, if you have the information, so a lot of fields to get a search on. And if you don't have the information, you can perform a wildcard search. So my bookmark cases. So what this does is it will temporarily save a case so that you can come back to it at any given time. So this is where you would actually click on the bookmark and it's going to turn purple. And once you do that, it's actually going to be in your My Bookmark queue that I talked about earlier. If you uncheck the bookmark, it will be removed, and it will also be removed from the queue, the bookmark queue. But what this is allowing you to do is to look at cases if you need to either show to someone or you need to come back to that particular case. And this was feedback that we received that folks wanted to be able to go back to a case and bookmark it somehow so they know where they need to go the next day, or maybe they need to provide or have someone look at the information with them before they make a decision. So the probability score, so this is new, and this will help you with determining whether you need to actually work on a case or not. So this is a potential outcome of the case. This does not guarantee that the case would be won or lost, but it's a potential outcome. So what you're seeing here is we have three areas here. We have a probability score of green, which means that you have a higher percentage of winning that case. You have a yellow score, which means that you have a 50-50 chance of winning the case. And then, of course, you have a red score, which means that most likely you won't. This information is all based on historical data. This is across our entire portfolio, but it also includes your information as well. So we have machine learning and algorithms that is looking at this data behind the scenes and determining what the score is. However, even though we say that something is green, doesn't necessarily mean that you win the case. It just means that you have a higher probability of winning the case. And that goes for the same for anything that's red. So if you decide that you want to challenge something that's red, you could potentially win the case. Again, it's a probability of how you might fare with this particular case. It's a potential outcome. So again, it's based on historical information across our whole portfolio, including your data as well, and it's looking at 3 years worth of information. So I'm pretty confident. We had some smart people working on this, but we're pretty confident about the scores. But again, it's just a potential outcome. So take actions. So this is the important part. So this is where you need to take an action with the case. So I'm going to talk about retrievals first. So we talked about the My Work Queue and the case detail landing page. And you'll notice that with the My Work Queue, we have an action button. We not only had a button here to open the case, but we also had a button to take an action. And what that means is you can fulfill the request or unable to fulfill the request right from the My Work Queue. So in other words, you don't have to go deeper into the case. If you're familiar with the reason code and you know what you need to do, you know what you need to attach if you're going to fulfill the request, you can do it right from the My Work Queue. You don't have to open the case to look at more detail. With Smart Dispute Manager, you had to do that. You had to keep drilling into all the details before you could respond. In this particular instance, you don't really have to do that. If you understand what you need to do, if you're familiar with the reason codes, you're used to the type of cases that you get in, you can certainly action right from here. But you can also open the case, or you can actually do more details. We also have an open button on the My Work Queue to actually open the case without hitting the action button. However, if you decide that you need to look at more details and you need more information before you action the case, you can certainly open the case and go to the case detail landing page, what we reviewed earlier, which is the 3 boxes, the 3 sections that we have with all the details. But you're also able to take an action from here as well. So you can fulfill the request or unable to fulfill the request. So 2 areas where you can take an action on the My Work Queue or the case detail landing page. So it's really just a quicker way for you to respond if you don't want to go into the details of the case. This is similar for chargeback. So nothing's different here. The My Work Queue, the case detail page, except we use different language for chargeback. So if you're going to respond to a chargeback, you either accept or you challenge the chargeback. Challenge means that you're going to upload documentation and you're going to, in support of the challenge, and send that back to us. But you can also do the same if you need to go into the details of the case by accepting and challenging. So again, quicker way to respond by using the My Work Queue or the case detail landing page when you have to do more research before you respond. So after you take those actions, you're going to upload documents. So upload documents is really just an easy way for you. You can drag and drop, or you can browse your computer. So also what you can do here is you can add multiple documents. You can add up to 5 documents at one time, but you can hit submit for those documents, but you actually can go back and add more documents if you need to. I am going to caution everyone, though, that we do have a limitation on the number of pages and the file sizes that we can send over to the card brands. So you would need to make sure that whatever you're supplying for documentation, that the most relevant information is first in the list for us to help you to respond back to the card brand to win the case. So again, you can upload multiple documents, and that's both for retrievals and chargebacks. However, we do have limitations that are put on us to follow the rules and regulations of the card brand on the size and the number of pages that we can send over. And once you do this, you're also able to leave case notes. There's a section in here, if you want to leave a case note to the analyst that is going to view your case, you certainly can. You don't have to. It's an optional flow, but you can leave a case note. So the case timeline. So this is a really cool feature that we added. And what this is doing is this is tracking the history of your cases in near real time. So anytime there's an event that takes place on this case, we will be tracking it. So we're tracking the information, helping you with looking at case notes or any other information that you need to see. And then you're also able to use filtering over here to actually filter the information. So for instance, if you want to look at the merchant advice, which is a letter that's generated, you can sort by that. If you want to look at bank documents, you can sort by that. If you want to look at the documents you uploaded, you can sort by that. And then you can also sort it by the newest to the oldest. So what this is going to do is this is going to track all your events. So what we do is we call this a card. So there's a card that's created once the case comes in, once it's a retrieval or a chargeback, we create the case, and then we're going to create this merchant advice. So you'll notice here that there's text here, which is part of the advice, but you can actually open up the advice and read the information if you choose to do so. And then what's going to happen is our system's going to say, okay, so now we're going to send this back over to the merchant, and it's going to tag as merchant response needed. And then there'll be another card created if you upload a document, if you challenge and upload a doc. And then there'll be another card created if the analyst needs more information from you, as an example. So these are things that will be tracked, and you'll be able to see the progression of the case. The Reason Code Advisor, we've had a lot of great feedback on this. So the Reason Code Advisor is available to you from the My Work queue, looking at the reason code. And there's going to be a question mark here. So if you click on the question mark, this Reason Code Advisor is going to populate and show you the information related to the reason code. You're going to see the short description, and you're also going to see information on best practices from the card brand. So you're going to see, why did I get this dispute? What caused the dispute? How should I respond? How can I prevent? This information is directly from the card brand. This information is not from Global Payments. We've added this in here, and it's best practices directly from the brand. So this helps you in determining the why and what caused it, and how should I respond, meaning what do I need if I want to challenge, what do I need to do, and what do I need to provide for supporting documentation, and then of course, how can I prevent it in the future? So this is available to you. It's quite a neat feature, and we've got a lot of great feedback on it. So for disputes management support, so here you're going to be able to get information, as I mentioned earlier, in the Help Center. So we have a dedicated page here for dispute management. This page is going to give you a reason code glossary. You're going to see definitions from the card brands. You're also going to have instructions, relevant help tips on how to use the application. Also, within the dispute management tool, there is going to be a help icon that's up near the application drawer. When you click on this, it's going to open up, and you're actually going to see a link to bring you right to the Help Center, or you're going to see a link here for the user guide. So you'll be able to download and extract the user guide that will have step-by-step instructions with screenshots taking you through the application if you have any questions. So again, we have the Help Center with a dedicated dispute page. There's FAQs, reason code glossary, and a lot of information, dispute terminology, and other things from the card brand. And then we also have the help page within the dispute management tool that'll give you access to the Help Center and the user guide as well. We also included all the phone numbers here. In case you need any help, you can get the phone number right there. Oh, and this is I just wanted to call this out for dispute management support. So again, this gives you access to the Help Center. We have our contact support numbers, and then the user guide as well. So now let's talk about dispute reporting. So reporting, as I mentioned early in the presentation, we have 3 reports. One of the reports is the Adjusted Dispute Report, which you are familiar with today, but we have 2 new reports. The 2 new reports is taking the place of disputes received. So what we've done is we've broken up that report into all your chargebacks received and all your retrievals received. We received feedback that folks wanted to see all their retrievals in one report and chargebacks in another report. So basically it's the same types of reports. We just broke out the received disputes report into the 2 for chargebacks and retrievals, and then we still have the adjusted dispute report. What's going to happen here, though, we talked about it earlier in transitioning between the 2 tools, between Smart Dispute Manager and the new dispute tool, is you will have to toggle back and forth for old cases versus new cases. However, your reports will contain all cases. So you won't have separate reporting. You're going to see all your cases from either application in the report. So again, you'll be able to see everything there. You should have no issues with seeing all the data. So I'm calling this out for those on the phone who have an acquirer administrator or an acquirer user role. So what is going to happen here is your default is going to be a case search, which is similar to what you do in Smart Dispute Manager today. So you're going to have to search for cases by a hierarchy selector. However, we've added additional search capability here for you. So when you log in, you're going to have to either search by the merchant ID or case status, case type, or through the hierarchy selector. So very similar to Smart Dispute Manager, but this is how you will have to search for your dispute. So I wanted to call this out because this is a little different due to your role. So for user management, so we've added some new tools here for access management. You will be able, as the account administrator or any kind of administrator role, you are able to promote permissions or add users here for dispute management. So what's going to happen is you're going to manage the tasks through this area, and you can also add and remove locations through this area. So nothing's changed in terms of what you do with Merchant Portal today, but when it comes to dispute management, you will have to go in to the account user role, and you can promote permissions or take away permissions. And you'll also notice that there's available and active permissions, so it's specific to the permission. And the reason we did that from a security standpoint, because we did get feedback that merchants like to be able to delegate certain roles and responsibility based on role within their organization. And based on that role, that particular person has the ability to do things or not. So you would be able to provide or promote permissions to someone who doesn't have one, or, for instance, to take actions, or you can take away those permissions and just have them with a view-only role. So again, it's really up to you as the administrator, but this is a new area, very similar to what you do today, so hopefully there'll be no issues when you go in and start to use it, but it's really just helping you select the dispute permissions by the particular user and their role. So dispute management migration. So let me take a minute or two to talk about this. We talked about this earlier in the presentation. So you're going to see 2 icons. You're going to see all your current in-flight cases until they closed or expired in Smart Dispute Manager, which is SDM, and then all new cases will be sent to the dispute management application. All new cases will be available at the time of your migration in the new tool. So again, 2 icons present in the application drawer, You will see that when you authenticate and you log into Merchant Portal and navigate over to the application drawer. Once you do that, you're going to see these two icons. All your old existing cases in flight will be in SDM. All your new cases at the time of migration will be in dispute management. The plan is that we will start migrating as early as tomorrow. So you will receive an email saying that you've migrated. So I would ask everyone to check your spam folders between the remainder of this week and next week for that information. But again, it's a good indicator if you log in and navigate over to SDM, if you see the two icons, then you have migrated. So we will start migrating tomorrow, and you will get an email as early as tomorrow and throughout the week next week. And ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of my presentation. I know we've got about 9 to 8 minutes left. So I know hopefully you all have been asking questions, and the team has been able to support that. I hope that everybody is excited about the new dispute management tool as I am, and I hope that you find it to be a great new application, and that you're excited about it as I am, and the new features and functionality. So again, I want to thank you all for attending today. I appreciate you taking the time. Thank you very much. Have a good day, everybody.